Hello. Well, it's the evening on Thursday, December the 7th, and I've just got back from a leak test at Bray Lake, and this video shows you the results of that. This is the underside of the boat's deck. This is the mast step, which is waterproof at the end. I've just been trying to fit this O-ring into a groove which I have previously made. It is the right size groove, but I've covered the underside of the deck with a clear epoxy resin, and I'd thought that if I put this on whilst the resin was still tacky it would fix it in place, but that has proved not to be the case. So I'm now using some silicone rubber adhesive and clamping it, and we'll see whether that works, and if so I'm going to have to do it in sections because I haven't got an infinite number of clamps and random pieces of wood. This is the top of the deck, and this being the tube into which the mast fits, and I have covered it with a clear UV resistant epoxy resin, just to give it a little bit of waterproofing really. And that's the underside of the deck, and I've put this silicone 4mm diameter O-ring all the way around, which was quite difficult because of these tight corners here. Probably I should just have used one of these make your own gasket type sealants rather than doing this, but we'll see whether this works anyway first. So we went to Bray Lake to do this leak test, and they happened to be doing some bungee jumping. Right, so ready for... Hang on, let me just get that. Can you come round a bit so that I've got it? That's it.
I'm laughing because you're saying push it down. Do you realise how hard it is?
Yeah, it's got plenty of buoyancy in it.
That was air coming out of the mast.
Is that all you can do, Dick? It can't get it any lower than that. I don't see any bubbles coming out, do you? I didn't see any bubbles, did you? Perhaps it's full of water already.
No, I don't think it's bubbling anywhere.
I don't see any. Or is that you farting, Dick? I think that test is good enough, don't you? You got the mast step.
Full of water.
But so what we're going to do now is take it out of the water, turn it over, or hold it up so that, because there will be water in this crack all the way along here, so we've got to get that out,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to take the deck off.
Just before
and
that,
we'll
I
see.
want to try
Upside down.
See if it's...
See where its centre of gravity is.
I'll just see how it does perform, sort of writing.
So it performs quite well upside down.
Am I going to be speaking? Who are these two silly men in the back? wondering whether buoyancy increases as it rolls.
Sorry?
I'm wondering if the buoyancy increases as it rolls, but not noticeably.
No, well, so there's no self-righting buoyancy in it, you think? It should do, shouldn't it?
Well, that should come from the rudder, really.
Yeah, the keel,
you
from the
can
keel,
do-
from the keel, you mean, don't you?
Oh, sorry, keel, yeah. You can do it with a wider beam,
Yes.
but you're adding a lot more drag.
It's a different cross-section of the boat in the water.
Yeah. I think that's.
Okay, so if we can bring it back on land,
Yeah.
we're then going to have to hold it up to let it drain out of the cracks, and then we'll take the deck off and have a look at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Letting it drain out of the crack between the deck and the hull, which should be more than sufficient, Dick, I reckon. So if we put it, just put it horizontal, and these things have a terrible tendency to lock up, and then cut the bolt through with a hacksaw, which is a pain in the arse. That's just cosmetic, Dick. We'll sort that with the stuff that you gave me.
Yeah. Okay.
There's nothing structural there, it's just on the outside. It's not exactly quick access, this deck.
No, well that's not a bad thing. So you built up where the hollows were
I
underneath
did, there was a hollow along here, I built that up.
Yeah.
It should show red if it's actually filming.
Yeah, it is.
Right, we have lift off. That looks like water, but it is. Oh, it is water. Look, there's water there.
Yeah. And here. And here.
So how did that get in? Do you think that came up the rudder? Oh, and there's water there too.
Yeah. That looks fairly dry round there, so
Yes.
I'd say not.
No. So it's getting through somewhere along this seal.
You
There's
sure?
some water getting in, is
Yeah, definitely. Look.
Are we sure there's not a leak in the hull anywhere?
Yes, we were, because I did that in the pond, didn't I?
Right. Okay.
So there's water in there, water in there, water in there, water in there. There's a bit of water there.
Right.
But not an enormous amount, considering we sat on it upside down in the,
Yes.
thing. But
Yes.
so that's disappointing. That's not a success.
No.
But what we'll do is try a different seal from this one, a slightly more flexible and bigger seal, I think, next time.
Yeah. A bit of me does wonder whether more bolts actually would. There's quite a distance between to try and apply
that is the
pressure.
problem with this being such a hard seal.
Yeah.
Are you filming that?
Yeah. I am.
With this being such a hard seal, if you press it down here and here, and it may bow up here and not seal. But funny thing is, we saw no bubbles coming out, did we? So water got in without the bubbles.
That's right.
Unless, no, there's sufficient water to say that it couldn't have just come in from when we undid it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, certainly up here there's a,
Yes.
there's a.
The fact that that got in there is a mystery to me. It's a mystery to me how any water can get in without bubbles coming out.
Well, below the water there'll be a certain pressure, won't there? That'll be greater than the air pressure inside.
Well, you see, yes. I suppose so. It could compress the air.
Just very slightly.
If water can get in, air can get out. That's what
I mean, the quantity
happens.
of water would not have to change the air pressure very much.
No.
A larger amount possibly, but not that small amount.
But normally when things leak, what happens is the water gets in and the air gets, if water can get in, then air can get out, so you get the bubbles coming from the top.
Yeah. I think that might start to happen after a significant more amount of water's leaked in there.
Because we've had it upside down and everything, so you can't really tell by looking at where the water is.
No, we've turned it all around, haven't we?
Yeah.
Had it on end. So a lot of this water could have come from when we stood it on end.
It could have come from somewhere else.
Yeah.
We will have to do another test.
The other thing to do would be to fill it with water, screw the lid on,
and see where it comes
and
out.
then turn it upside down
Yes.
and see where it comes out.
Yes, that would be easier to do because I could do that at home.
Home, yeah, that's right.
Yes. Right, so there we go.
Okay.
That's good.
I'll end that. So you'll have a go at doing that then, Sam, will you?
Yes,
Right.
I will. Another possibility is that I'm using these O-rings here to waterproof the bolts, and when I screw them down, I don't know if you can see this, they just get squashed out, which seems to make a fair, it's not really how O-rings should work, but it seems to make a fairly good seal, but there's a possibility that that's not sealing as well as it should do. Another interesting point is that I screwed these down to a particular torque determined by number 5 on my electric screwdriver, and in no case was the flange of the bolt actually in contact with the top of the deck, so it was the pressure exerted by the bolt was controlled by a squashed O-ring rather than by the flange. So possibly if I'd torqued these bolts up more, it would have been better. Well, that was the result of that the second leak test that I've done on Roger's boat. As you see, it was a complete failure, but I always knew that the silicone rubber O-ring seal that I was using might be a bit too hard. I've got various ideas to how we can test where it's leaking or change the seal, so I'll be working on those in the next few days. Thanks for watching.